It's the Keyboard Warrior here, and hope you all doing fine. Today I'm gonna be doing a Tekken 8 tier list based on the latest 1.11 patch. It's been a long time since I've done one, and I think it would be really nice to see where the characters stand after the latest patch. Before we start off with this tier list, there's a couple of things that I need to talk about, and that is, firstly, uh, tier list does not define your skill level. If you're fundamentally strong, you will be able to go ahead and use a character who's bottom tier, and you will be able to perform well, right? If you're skilled at the game, it does not matter which character you're using as long as you're comfortable using that character, okay? So make sure you're using a character you're comfortable with, all right? It's not necessary that you have to pick the top tiers in order to do well in this game, right? We have seen time and again that bottom tier characters are also relevant if used correctly. And also, tier list is something not everyone agrees on. So if you feel any of the character placements is incorrect, go ahead and let me know in the comment section. Tell me where I'm going wrong, and we can have a decent discussion about it. Just try not to be toxic, all right? We need to respect each other's opinion, all right? Because you might have a point of view, I might have a different point of view. So without further ado, let's quickly start off with the tier list. And also, one more thing, I would try to keep the explanation short because I've been doing tier lists for a long time now, and by now people are aware of the strengths and weaknesses of these characters. So I'll try to make it as quick as possible so that you don't have to sit 30 minutes and listen to me blabbering about characters, alright? So without further ado, let's get going. First up, Jack. First up, we have Jack, and I would put him in the mid tier because he's neither too strong nor too weak. He does have great pokes though, great low pokes, great forward and backward movement, but he definitely needs buff to be, considered strong in this game. Right, next up we have Jin. We all know he's the perfect character, literally no weakness. It's the strongest he's ever been, so S tier. His mom, uh, I would place her in the mid tier as of now. She used to be very strong until they nerfed her, but now, if you ask me, she's mid tier at best. Kazuya, really strong, one of the most broken characters in Heat mode. We all know how good he is after he got his buffs, and A tier, of course. King is also pretty strong, also going A tier. We all know how annoying throws can be in this game. We have seen pro players getting thrown all over the place. Throws are OP in this game, and King has one of the best heat smashers in the game, and his throw game is obviously the best, so that makes him really dangerous. So A tier. Then we have Lars, and I feel Lars is C tier at the moment because a few months back, Lars's offense used to be really overwhelming, right? And people used to get confused a lot. But now people figured him out and know exactly when to poke him, exactly how to get out of that pressure. So, to be honest, if you take away his pressure game, he's not much of a threat. So, C tier. So C tier, right? Next up, we have Law, and we all know how strong this fella is. He is one of the strongest characters in the game, and with DSS being easier, this guy is absolutely a nightmare to go up against, alright? Next up, we have Paul, and with all the high damage combos that you can get with this dude, something lacking about him, alright? Paul is a very straightforward character, and because he's so straightforward, it's pretty easy at times to defend against Paul, and that is why Paul is one of the hardest characters you can play at higher levels because how less complicated this guy is, right? He's tough to play, alright? It's not like he's like super easy or something. People often make this mistake of thinking that Paul is absolutely easy to play, but he's not. Try connecting 3 QCF ones in a row and you'll know what strict timing is all about. Next up, we have Nina, and obviously one of the best characters in the game. Top 3 easily. Poke machine, best offense in the game, best pressure in the game, so S tier. Ling, I would place her in the A tier because people are slowly figuring her out, and she's a bit overwhelming with the moveset, but if you can get past that, if you can actually understand how to use her, she is really, really strong, right? Next up, we have Asuka, and I'm not so impressed. She's still C tier, arguably bottom 5, but I guess she needs more buffs to even go up a tier. Alright. Next up, Leroy, again, with all the buffs, still not that good. Range is the problem, so I would place him in the C tier. Lily, on the other hand, would be placed in the A tier because she's a solid character, great at neutral. She has range, damage, mix-ups. You ask for it, she's got it. Right? Best sidestep in the game? Yeah, yeah. Lily is super strong. All right. Next up, we have Warang, and one of the most hated characters online, and very often regarded as one of the weakest tournament characters. But we have seen KBs, we have seen Edge do well in tournaments. Orang in Tekken 8 is actually nice. I normally used to put Orang in the mid tiers, but I feel at the moment currently Orang is right up there in the A tier. Alright. Next up we have Claudio, easily one of the best characters, easily top 10. Right? Claudio is one of the most picked tournament dudes. His overall kit is really strong. Okay. Next up, we have Azucena, and she's gonna go in the C tier. They nerfed her running 3-2. She's kind of gone downhill since then. So yeah. Next up, we have Raven, arguably one of the worst characters in the game, but that doesn't mean he's absolutely not usable. We have seen Pina do well with this character. If you can learn the character by heart, you will be able to go ahead and do well with the character. Doesn't matter if he's bottom tier or top tier, right? Next up, we have Dragunov. He used to be super broken, now he's just broken. I don't need to say much about this character. Even after repeated nerfs, he's still OP, so S tier. Then we have Kuma, and I would place Kuma in the mid tier. Kuma is really strong, right? Compared to Panda, Kuma's heat mode is actually very strong. If you want to compare these two characters, I would say Kuma is way better. Alright, then we have Leo. Uh, Everything is okay with Leo. The fact that this character is so linear is what hurts this character. Alright. If you're good at sidestepping, you would probably eat a Leo for breakfast. Right. Next up, we have Shaheen, easily top 10, one of the strongest characters, very similar to Law, but it's a little bit more difficult to play. But if you talk about mix-ups, this dude is ridiculously good. And then we have Steve, and Steve would be making it to the mid-tier because we all knew that he was absolutely bottom 5 early on, but then he received some buffs. Now he's climbing up tiers. At the moment, I could place him in the mid tier. I wouldn't say that he's super strong though, but average at best. Next up, we have Yoshi, and Yoshi is gonna go S tier. There's no doubt. Yoshi is super strong. His move list is huge, alright? Kind of overwhelming for users if you're using him for the first time. But if you understand how to use this character, there are like millions of traps that you can actually pull off in a game, right? Unblockables, millions of counter hit launchers. This dude is scary, alright? Then we have Fang, another S tier. There could be a little debate about Fang being A tier, but I would still say he's strong, right? He's got one of the best poking in the game, undoubtedly one of the strongest characters out there. Elisa, arguably S tier, but I would put her in the A tier because I personally find that Elisa is not better than these characters, right? But she has got all the monkey stuff that you need for Tekken 8. Next up, Devil Jean, probably the weakest Mishima out there, and I would put Devil Jean in C tier, alright? They really nerfed this dude to the ground, right? And I really didn't like that because Devil Jean is supposed to be a strong Mishima, but at the moment, shockingly enough, he's the worst. So, C tier. Uh, Lee, I would place in the mid tier. Now, there could be an argument that Lee would probably be in the bottom 5, but I don't think so. Right? Lee is extremely hard to play, no doubt. But if you could master this character, his counter hit setups are absolutely insane. He needs buffs, but in the right hands, I would say Lee is definitely not bottom 5. Alright? Zafina is another character who got buffs and is currently doing pretty nicely in tournaments, and we have seen a lot of Zafina players perform really well. Very good character at the moment. Alright? Next up, Victor, again, another B tier character, frequently used in tournaments, very easy to use, but used to be better before they nerfed his while running 2. So now he's just mid tier, right? Ryan is a very hard character to play, arguably one of the hardest in the game at the moment. If you could use this character well enough, you'll know that he is ridiculously good. I wouldn't say he's top 10, but he's just right up there, alright? A tier. Reyna, very strong character, another character that makes up to the A tier, even though she lacks her lows but unblockable throws, and her pressure game kind of makes up for it, alright? Next up we have Eddie, and I think Eddie would be mid tier, alright? Now, a lot of people might feel that he's better, a lot of people might feel that he's worse. He's super linear, he's got very bad frames, but there are a lot of tools that he has. If when used correctly, Eddie could be actually very, very strong. We have seen in tournaments, we've seen John Dane go crazy with this guy. So yeah, mid tier. Lydia would be C tier, right? Her heat mode is one of the best in the game, there's no doubt, but her fundamental game is very weak, right? So C tier at best. Next up we have Heihachi. I wouldn't say Heihachi is stronger than Kazuya because Kazuya is absolutely crazy in heat mode. So I would keep Heihachi in the A tier, but he's not stronger than Kazuya. And lastly, we have Clive. He used to have one of the best moves in the game for 1+2 until they nerfed it. Now it's unsafe on block. They also nerfed his back 1+2, and it really hurt the character, right? But still, I would still say he's A tier, okay? Even though they nerfed the best thing about him, still A tier because his mix-ups are insane, his power crushers are insane, and he has like infinite wall carry, right? He is a scary dude when he's in heat mode because he gets access to all these strings and he keeps the pressure going, and that is exactly why people hate this dude, right? So Clive, I would say, is easily A tier. Time for some final checks. Clive would go a little higher. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, there you go. That's the tier list based on the latest 1.11 patch. Feel free to comment and let me know if any character is placed incorrectly. We can definitely have a discussion. Try not to be toxic. If you like this video and if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. It means a lot to me when you do that. So, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again in the next one.